We want to make sure that potential candidates who are out there, individuals who are interested in a career in the fire department, we want them to know as much as possible about the application process so that they can see that it's accessible, that it's open, and that there's a path that they can follow that will lead towards a career in the fire service. So we made the decision to always begin our hiring process every year on December 1st, and that involves your standard county employment application. From that point, people who meet the minimum qualifications are invited to come take a written test. Individuals who pass the written test are then invited to complete a personal history background, which is really just a way for us to collect information that might otherwise be on a resume. At the same time that we ask for that information, we begin offering mentoring sessions for the candidate physical agility test for candidates to come familiarize themselves with the equipment and with the different movements. That's also a pass-fail test. And at that point, we have really our list of potential candidates. We usually have somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 finalists. So more than half of those finalists will then progress to the panel interview. Ultimately, a list of individuals will come to me for final interview, and we'll interview somewhere in the neighborhood of typically about 60 final candidates to fill anywhere from 15 to 30 positions in the recruit academy.
So we get a large number of applicants for the process, and we're blessed to have that much interest in the opportunity that we provide. We're looking for individuals that want to put their heart and their body and their life into the service of others, doing a very difficult and complex job. And so we do everything we can in the application process to refine that list down so that we start the academy with the very best recruits possible.
Well, applying to the fire department, especially here in Henrico County, it's a lengthy process. There's a lot of steps to it. It's an exciting process. I can remember the feeling that I had sitting down, like, all right, this is real. I'm getting a chance, and I'm getting a chance to, apply to the place I really, really want to be.
It was just very intimidating because there was, like I said, there was hundreds of people in this auditorium, and when one of the chiefs got up and spoke and said they were hiring for 11 people, you just kind of look around like there's a lot of people that aren't going to be into this academy. I would just say the length of the process was the most daunting. The application was due in December, so you're looking at 6 to 8 months before you even start recruit school of wondering if you're even accepted into the recruit school.
Looking at all of the stuff to be filled out, I was like, man, I don't know. I had a couple of thoughts. I don't want to go through filling all this stuff out. Can I just skip some of it, But, this profession, they want to make sure that it's done the right way. So I think I was a little bit more nervous about getting it all done right.
What have you done in your life? What have you done in our community? What have you accomplished in your professional career? In what ways have you served other people? Have you been a member of a team? Have you shown leadership? Have you shown care and compassion for other people? And really, our saying, we use this all the time, is that we're looking for people who have a heart for service. We're looking for missionaries, not for mercenaries.
There are specific things that we've identified that provide us with a very valuable candidate in our organization. And those really revolve around our core values of professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and empathy. And so what we've done is we've broken down certain things in that questionnaire or pieces of a person's background, whether it's leadership competencies, physical fitness related competencies, community service history. Those kinds of things will help shape somebody. So all those things sort of add up and create a score and create a picture of a candidate who we feel like is going to be a very good fit for our organization. What we're trying to measure is not necessarily your fitness competencies, but your body's ability to do the specific job-related tasks that are required of a firefighter. Climbing stairs, crawling down a dark hallway, using the pike pole, raising a ladder. All of these things are things that, that are going to be required of the recruit if they're hired into that process, and required throughout their career as a firefighter.
There was no point in time where I felt like I was different because I was a female. I never felt different going through the hiring process. And I just remember seeing one female struggle really bad through the CPAT, and at that point in time I thought, well, what am I getting myself into? I kind of started second guessing myself, but then I saw a male go through and he struggled just as bad and didn't make time. So once I saw a male go through, it was kind of just in my head, it has nothing to do with it's harder for a woman or harder for a male. I don't want to say I thrive off of pressure, but kind of put a motivation in me like, you know, I'm not here to keep taking this test. And I just had in my head I wasn't going to come back because you had 3 chances. I knew it was a difficult test, and I knew I did not want to do it 3 times.
I think a lot of the particular test isn't as physically demanding as it is, hey, making sure that you're focused and you're doing something correctly, because not only will you fail because physically you're not able to pass the test, but you'll also fail by making mistakes, doing certain things in the test that are automatically disqualify you.
The panel interview process provides us an opportunity to really understand more about the candidate. When we look at a resume or when we evaluate an individual's background, we get a lot of genuinely important detail. And when we have the opportunity to sit down and talk with them, we get a much better understanding about what it is behind their actions. Do they have the heart for service? Do they have a commitment to this job? Is this an individual that we believe has the diligence and the deliberateness of spirit to be successful along a long, very difficult career?
That was when, as an individual, I felt like they could finally put a face to a name. And I was finally, I went from being just an individual that was on a piece of paper to an actual person, where I could use some of, some speaking skills and some people skills. So I was very excited about that. It was one more step closer again to, to the ultimate, goal of getting a chance to be hired.
There's a bunch of steps in the process. Each step is designed to help us narrow down from this big number that we start off with 1,000 or so candidates, down to about 20 or 24 final recruits that are going to start on the first day of recruit school. When they come to me for a final interview, we're really interviewing about twice the number as we intend to hire.
I remember the interview with the chief and getting an opportunity, and actually when I got the telephone call from his secretary that I was going to get an opportunity to sit down with him, that's when it really got real. And you're getting an opportunity, quite honestly, to sit down with the man that's in charge of the 2nd largest fire department here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that in itself is very exciting.
I get a little emotional because I remember I got a call one morning, and the call was, congratulations, and I said, thank you. But by the time I said thank you the 3rd time, my voice was very shaky and broken up. I said, I'm sorry, you have to give me a minute, because I was in tears and I needed this time to take for myself.
To go from seeing hundreds of people month at a time, month at a time, month at a time, not knowing, and to get that phone call was just a relief. It was kind of the end of a process, but also the beginning of a harder process, but to know I got that far after those many months of wondering, it was a big relief.
My son had just been born, and not only was I excited about that, but I got the telephone call shortly thereafter he was born, and man, you talk about a day. That's when, obviously one of the best days of my life. You have the dream of having another healthy child, and then also knowing that you have a chance at, the livelihood that you can ultimately provide for your family that you've sought after since you were old enough to know what that job was.
We can judge the success of our recruiting program in a couple of different ways. One is the pass rate of the recruits coming through the Recruit Academy, because our academy is tough. And so having a successful graduation of a Recruit Academy is one early indication of whether or not the recruiting process worked. From that point, you know, I'm personally reviewing, as well as all members of the chain of command, the quarterly performance reports of these recruits when they go out to the station. And the overall performance of our candidates since we changed over the hiring process has been outstanding.
We're looking at what's the core of a person. We don't have a secret formula. We don't have a plan for what a recruit school should look like on the outside, but I can promise you I have a plan for what it should look like on the inside.